Hi and welcome to this episode of the JA Malta Podcast, the Work Readiness series. So in this series, as you know, we've been discussing how someone who's joining the workforce or looking for a new job could prepare themselves with terms of documentation, CVs, covering letter, handle interviews, negotiate contracts, and also the different skills required for that. Today we have Alexiei Dingli with us, the AI guru, if I can call him that. And we will be discussing future jobs, future changes that are happening within the job industry and in terms of skills required due to the rapid development of IT, tech, and AI in general. So I'll first let Alexiei introduce himself
Hi,
today.
Matthew. So thank you for this invite. So I'm Alexiei Dingli. I'm a professor of AI at the University of Malta. I've been working in AI for the past 20 plus something years, so quite a long time.
Before ChatGPT.
Yes, and before AI was even sexy, so I was there as well. Mind you, AI has been much before me, of course, so we're talking now about 70, 80 years of AI. But of course, now we're really touching and feeling the benefits of AI.
Yes.
So that is the current situation. I expect a lot of change, but exciting times ahead.
Yes, in terms of changes, so we see a lot of reports on which jobs will be obsolete, which jobs will be replaced. What would be your take from someone, obviously, who's in the field, who's in the know?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see the landscape of jobs changing in the
Yes.
coming years?
So look, if you look at the World Economic Forum, all right, so on the plus side of jobs, you find the usual suspects. So the IT jobs, the AI jobs, the data science jobs, I mean, no surprises over there. But on the minus side, so those jobs that will become less popular, you tend to find some new entrants. And one of them is, for example, accountants. So accountants is high on the list, and if you think about it, it makes sense, no? Because in accountancy, they deal with digital records most of the time. Most of the papers are digitized today, and it's really processing numbers, no? So if there's one thing which a computer can do well, it's processing numbers. So no surprises over there. However, irrespective of this, irrespective of which job you're working in, I think the most important part is that rather than focusing on the job, you should focus on what you do best, your value added, no? Because I'm sure that we will still need accountants, even with AI, no? But the human offers that value added, that extra. And this comes through a number of soft skills. And in fact, we're seeing that a lot of companies are requesting soft skills much more than the content part, because they argue that, the content part is something they can train. And let's face it, if you go online, you'll find content about anything really today, okay? But when it comes to soft skills, so problem solving, time management, creativity, these are not something which come by easily, all right? And it's not even something which you really can train people. I mean, there's as much you can train. So I think these are the skills of the future. Sort of people need to be, of course, resilient, but open to change. And I think that is the most important skill that we need today, because what will happen is still unclear, no? But I'm sure that there will be a lot of disruption. So when disruption hits, people need to be up sort of with their skilling and prepared for changing and adapting to the new situation in the marketplace.
In fact, I think when we're talking about the subject on how AI or tech will change the job landscape, I think the discussion needs to revolve more, as you're saying, on the skills required rather than the job title, because job titles might change.
Yes.
There'll be other areas that are needed. And as you're saying, if we pick on the example you mentioned on the accountant, there'll be less bookkeeping, but more the analysis maybe, or the on the ground understanding how certain forecasts are impacting you within your real world scenario, because the computer might not fully understand your case in particular.
Exactly, and remember, the human can bring in insight and experience, something which a computer would probably lack. Okay, so the idea, as you correctly said, is, listen, let's have this like junior helper that's helping us with the dirty work, and we will do the other work, the value-added work.
Yes.
And I think this is the biggest shift that we've had since ChatGPT. Okay, because as we know, AI has been there for quite a while. The sun didn't come up with ChatGPT, but of course, ChatGPT is a disruptive technology because it's pervasive. A lot of people can find different applications in different domains. So that is the biggest change. So let's use it as my assistant. Of course, I need to check it, so it's still a junior assistant, okay? It will do the dirty work for me, and I will do the rest.
And you mentioned, obviously, this will require change. There's a disruptive element into it. From your point of view, your opinion, is our educational system, or within education, are we preparing youth enough for this new disruption, or in what is, in your opinion, the change that should take place?
Yes. Okay, so unfortunately, the answer is very easy. It's no. Okay. Recently, I was also at a conference in Malta, and they've conducted a study, and in the study, the result was that it's not just that, but our system is also killing the creativity of students. Now, this is something which we knew from abroad, but this is the first time I've heard it about Maltese schools. And it's not surprising because I see students from the other end. When they come to university, I notice that a lot of these students are confined to a box. And I think as part of my job is to take them out of that box and get them to start thinking, really. Unfortunately, our system has a number of issues. One of them is, for example, that our knowledge, our tuition on IT and emerging technologies in general, not just AI, starts quite late. Okay, so you might have a good teacher at primary that maybe explore these issues, but of course you're at the mercy of the teacher over there. There isn't really a subject which is digital or computational thinking, which gathers all of these elements together, because we need to catch students from when they are still very young. Now, to make things worse, sometimes you tend to find students, even at a young age, that know much more than their teacher.
Yes.
And that's creating a very problematic dynamic. Furthermore, if you look at our educational system, first of all, it's very much content-based. So, students have to remember a lot of stuff which you can find now easily online at the click of a button. Rather than focusing on the thinking aspect, getting them to think, get ideas together, solve problems.
In fact, we need to teach students more the concepts of where to look for information, how to analyze that information, because the information is out there. And actually, we're flooding in information nowadays, so it's more, as you're saying, the analytical side of it.
Yes.
So do you see the technical skills, the analytical skills, AI, something that should be taught on its own as a particular subject, or should it be adopted by other curriculums?
In an ideal world, we start seeing integration between curricula, okay? So it's not just about technology, but even the sciences, no? Why should you learn the sciences on their own? The problem is that sometimes when they teach them on their own, they're too abstract for children to realize. All right, let me give you an example. My son in Form 1 had a session on CSI, so crime scene investigation. No, and there was a crime, and they had elements of biology, elements of physics, elements of chemistry, and then combined them together to find the solution to this crime. Okay, so that is a much more powerful pedagogical exercise for the kids. But there are very few of these examples. So ideally, yes. However, the problem at the moment is that when we integrate them with other subjects, what tends to happen is that sometimes, the teachers give less importance to the digital aspect, to AI, to computational thinking, in favor of the more mainstream subjects. So even though I would prefer such an approach, I think at this stage we really need a big push to get children to explore these subjects, because I don't think we are doing enough.
So anyone out there who's in their teens or even older or early 20s, looking for different jobs and moving into different industries. Where or how should they prepare themselves more, sort of taking more the proactive approach of them learning more on the recent developments on AI, on the different skills or any particular even technical skills that they could learn themselves to be able to work with AI tools?
All right, let's start from a very important premise, okay? We are not here to create or to make sure that everyone becomes an AI specialist, okay? That won't happen, and that's not even what we want to do, because we still need lawyers, we still need architects, we still need accountants, okay? So we still need those. But what we need is lawyers, architects, accountants, and all the other professions, that are conversant with AI. Because after all, AI is a tool. So you need to do the best out of it. So ideally, you still specialize in your desired area, because after all, it's what the student wants, no? But also explores that area through the use of different AI tools. And, if you go online today with Udemy, with so many resources available, I mean, you just need to spend some time and to train yourself, which is, after all, a very important skill which the employers need as well.
In fact, I think, I'm not sure where I saw it, but I saw you being quoted as saying AI is a tool that you can use it. It's like, I think you use the comparison with a knife.
Yes.
You can use it for good things, but also bad things. And again, as tools, we need to, any industry, as you said, you need to get used to what tools are available that can assist you.
Yes.
And not be scared of this change.
Exactly. And Matthew, I dare go a step forward to that, because first of all, as we said, AI is a tool, okay? But today, the biggest challenge is not whether AI is taking over my job. The biggest challenge is that someone else in my field is using AI and getting advantage over me. So that is my competition. If we're both architects and you use AI and I don't, you have a bigger advantage than me.
Yes.
So this is the race we have today. And that is why I urge everyone, listen, go online today. Thank God, education is very much democratized. Find the book which is important, the site, the course, whatever, read about it and make it yours and use it in your day-to-day job.
And how do you counter the argument saying if you are using, let's say, ChatGPT, you're cheating, you're doing something which is lazy, or what would be your argument against that kind of argument?
Okay, let me give you an example. When I was still in school, and I used to write my essays, I used a dictionary. Today nobody uses a dictionary, no? Does that make me lazier or whatever? I don't know. I don't think so. But so I think it's about changing times. So times are changing. These are new tools. If you want or if you don't want, you have to accept. I mean, it's there to stay. So it's either I get to use those tools and I excel and increase my performance as it's happening, all right? Because if you look at even a study by MIT, the performance of people that use these tools increase by 10-20%. So it's no joke. Or I start saying, listen, I'm cheating or whatever. I don't use them, but someone else will use them, and he will go ahead of me.
And again, you are sort of in the news recently as well because of your pitch on Shark Tank. And again, you're making use of the technology in tackling some other issues in society. So if people out there have these ideas or are thinking of solutions that they could apply in different fields, and they think that AI could help them, how would you say they should be tackled? Sort of how should they go about it if they don't have any AI background? What would be the path that they get connected with people in AI, or how can they make their life easier?
Okay, so I think there are two things you need to do. One of them is do your own personal research, okay? Why? So that you understand the extent of AI. Once again, it's not to become an AI expert or to do it yourself, okay? Because, of course, appreciate that behind what I do, there are years of studying, so it's not something you gain in a few months. And there's the other aspect that things are so rapid that it's very hard to catch up as well, unless you are in the field. And sometimes even for me, it's hard to catch up, let alone for an enthusiast. But I suggest, listen, understand AI and understand what it can do for you. and then approach one of the different experts that there are and bounce it off with them. He might give you a different perspective or maybe suggest some amendments. But I think it's something collaborative that you can work together with someone.
And so far we worked on the topic that you don't need to be an AI expert because you're using a tool, you can collaborate with others. Now, for those who really want to get into AI and take it on and really start working in that field,
yes,
are there any particular skills that they need to have, or how do they start working in that field?
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning, all right? So when it comes to AI course, especially at university, the entry requirements are either computing A-level or maths intermediate or the other way around. Okay, so I think they're very reachable by most people who would like to go in our field. Why do we do that? We do that because you need the basis of computing, but also you need some mathematics. Now, of course, it's very important sort of not to be scared by the mathematics, because we get a lot of people that tell us, oh, but this is a highly mathematical course. And my answer is that it can be, and it cannot be as well, because there are different aspects of AI. AI is a very vast field of study. So there's maybe the more theoretical, where you need some deep mathematics. But there's also the applicative side, where, you know, today there are so many libraries that you don't really need that extent of mathematics. So I think AI offers an option for both. In Malta, we are lucky because we have the course, and it's been there since the 90s. In fact, I was one of the first students of that course. So, you know, when you consider that many other countries didn't have a course of AI for many years, I think we're quite lucky. And we have a very good master's degree as well. In fact, our master's degree is very popular since we launched it in 2018, I believe. It was extremely popular. Every year we have a big intake. And the nice thing about it is that it's made up of a number of modules, okay, which lead you to the applicative side, because AI it's a very applicative area of computing. And if you can't do that course, we also offer it as modules, individual modules. So imagine, Matthew, you tell me, listen, I have my work, my commitments, and it's impossible for me to dedicate a full-time master's. So, you know, it's not a problem. Do a module every semester or every year. Then collect the modules and finally do the dissertation. And like that, you'll have your master's. We have another option, which is also very interesting, is via an internship. So you can have part of the master's, which is as an internship with a company. So that keeps on adding to the applicative side. And I think we're trying to make it open as much as possible to people in general.
Yes, I think so. I think the opportunities are out there. I think apart from studying it and getting fully into it, as we were saying, there are also other opportunities like startup boot camps and opportunities which you can then couple up with others who are more knowledgeable maybe in that field, for you to build that idea further. From an uptake point of view, are you seeing an increase in interest from a company corporate world perspective to adopt this more into their day-to-day business? And also from students' perspective, are you seeing that the hype, let's call it that, but because it's getting more and more in our faces, is it resulting in more interest?
From the company side, there's definitely much more awareness. So personally, I've received a lot of requests to discuss. The problem at the moment is that a lot of people do not realize what it can do for them, and that is where we still require, you know, some clarification, especially with companies. But remember, companies are passing through a very difficult time, which will keep on increasing. I'm referring to the issue with human capital. Okay, it's very hard today to find people and to find good people. Okay, so one of the things which AI can help them with is to increase the productivity of their existing workforce. So definitely, I'm seeing a lot of interest in that direction, especially with generative AI like ChatGPT, etc. On the other hand, when it comes to students, we've seen an increase. So if I remember correctly, it's an increase of about 20-30% over previous years. However, it's still not enough. Because what is going to happen is by 2030, there are studies which show that the world will have a shortage of 85 million professionals. So, the dependency is continuing to grow, and we can't find enough specialized people for that growth. And that will create a big problem. So we need more students to take up these courses.
And the uptake you're seeing, does it include an increase also in girls and women participating in because tech has for quite a while we've been pointing out that we need to promote more female participation in digital areas. Is this still a problem?
Yes, it's still a problem. It's an unfortunate situation. I honestly don't know why we don't get more females, especially because in most cases the female cohort in the groups are normally the top of our class. So they're really good at what they do, but we don't have enough. Luckily, and I think I say it with pride, out of the 5 departments at the Faculty of ICT, our department has 3 female members of staff. So, there are role models today. And I hope we get more females in our courses because 1, we need it, and 2, let's be honest as well. I mean, our job is, let's say, a comfortable job in the sense that it's flexible. Normally the conditions are quite good, so it supports also a healthy work-life balance. So I really hope that we do get more females.
On this point, just a bit of self-promotion. We as JA we also have a program, in fact, it's called Girls Go Circular, targeting the teenagers, 6th form students and Form 5, Form 4, where we are promoting the participation of female participation in digital skills, circular economy, and over there as well, we could see that, especially in Malta, last year, the Maltese team won the European competition.
Wow. Right.
And now they're actually... they just came back from the Netherlands because they participated in another robotics competition. 3 girls, teenagers, that basically won the robotics competition there. So as you said, the quality is there, the skill is there, but for some reason, sometimes we find that the numbers still don't add up.
I think it's still this stereotyping, even like when girls ask about future careers, I don't think there are many that try to push them in our direction.
Which is parents, you mean? Or?
It could be parents, it could be the guidance at school as well. Sometimes they go for the safer or traditional jobs if they still exist, these jobs, which I think it's a pity because, as I said, I mean, there's a lot females can do in our domain. And remember, we need them as well. Even recently, there have been quite a number of cases on bias.
Yeah, especially bias in AI.
So we need balanced teams because it helps everyone.
Yes. And if you were to give one last word of advice for someone who's looking into getting involved in more into AI or still maybe scared or still skeptical about the idea, so what would be your another advice to close off?
I think my advice, which I give to everyone, is never stop learning. I think that is the main skill which people should have in the future, and looking at how things are changing so rapidly. I mean, I think it's the single most important skill. So if you would like to go into AI, I mean, go online. There are loads of resources today. AI is being democratized a lot. So many libraries, open source. You can do anything, pieces of code you can just run. So go for them. Don't be afraid. You're not going to explode anything. Try it out and keep on learning.
Thanks, Alexiei, for that. I think it was a useful discussion to link up AI with the jobs and the prospects there. My advice, or from this discussion, my takeaway would be that. So obviously, focus more on the skills. Get busy working on developing your skills, be it problem solving, creativity, critical thinking, and get involved in different areas that give you these skills, so that you can, as Alexiei was saying, continue learning and never stop learning, especially with the current pace of development and change. So thank you, Alexiei, for joining us today. I'll thank you for joining us as well on this episode, and we look forward to having you on the next episodes of the JA Malta Podcast. I'll just thank our partners, the VOPS scheme and the Ministry for the Voluntary Sector and Inclusion, and as well as Jobsplus. Continue following our social media. We mentioned some programs that we have, and we can you can get more information from our social media there on topics related to entrepreneurship, work readiness, and financial literacy. So until the next episode, we'll see you and take care.